Everybody, welcome back. It's Trackmania, track of the day, track of the morning to you laddies. Here we are. Yesterday we only got the gold, but that's okay. It was still a decent performance. We were top 10 in BC, pretty much like a mean performance. Top 146 in the egg carton. F in chat, please. Can I get an F in chat? Really, today's the final day of July. I had no idea. Nobody tell Colin Malloy of the Decemberists. He's going to have to rewrite a song. It's going to be called August. It's one for my twee lads and lasses out there. I don't know why I'm putting on a faux Irish affectation. Send it. Is there a backwards for GPS? Nope. Mission failed. We'll get them next time. All right. This track is called Suburbia. It looks a little bit like the new early access game from Obsidian, Grounded. Okay. I honestly, I'm a little bit confused, perturbed. I'm twisted up. What do you want from me here? Maybe, oh, that's what you want from me. Okay, so that's going to be our first bottleneck. All of Trackmania is just a simulation of the later life of Ulysses S. Grant, a series of consecutive bottlenecks. Now, it's a mean-spirited joke about his supposed alcoholism. I will admit, apparently, much of the scuttlebutt around Ulysses S. Grant's alcoholism was apparently a smear campaign by his political rivals. So I apologize for playing into it. At the same time, you know, it's a joke from like the 1860s, so like, you know, let's not sweat it too much. Let's just have a little bit of fun here. Plus, Ulysses S. Grant, one of the best presidential portrayals in media ever in Wild Wild West. Kevin Kline as Artemis Gordon as Ulysses S. Grant. That's a heck of a corner there. That's so here's what I'm thinking, okay? I think you can definitely take this without slowing down. But you gotta go heavy to the right here. You gotta land on the sand a little bit. You gotta spend a little time on the sand, like 50 Cent blood on the sand. And then, that's tough. That's a tough one. What's the, we don't even know what the times are on this one yet. That's okay. Okay, Gary, yeah. Keep those wheels straight. Clip the dunes. And then stay competitive here. This is where it all comes down to. Boy, little air braking could do you a solid there. Okay, this is a weird one. Certainly a weird one. You gotta make it through the fence. What the heck is even that? Okay. No, that's okay. At least we fit. Alright, we go through. Oh, this is a very inventive track. I can already tell that's going to be a place where you can get some time if you got the stones. Do I have the stones? I'm as of yet undecided about whether or not I have the stones. This course, Honey, I Shrunk the Car, right? I mean, I've heard of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but Honey, I Shrunk the Car, that's a new one. Alright. There's no, I mean, actually, that's not true. We could have easily restarted from checkpoint there. Man, this is some heavy grass, huh? Some heavy grass. Even a car crashing into it at speeds approaching 500 is not capable of getting through it. This seems like a difficult course. Now, we are very early on in the day today, so just completing it should give us a pretty decent rank. I'm not, you know, I've learned I'm not gonna sweat early problems on a course like this. I might not even sweat that, honestly. Obviously, it's going to keep us back by like 10 seconds, but on a course that's obviously a little prickly like this, just learning it is that's gonna allow the algorithm to pop off. So this is, I think, where we clip the wall pretty badly. That's fine. Should have stuck to the left, but it's a little tough, you know? It's not an easy task. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This is a very, you know, it's a good Friday track. If you're watching this on Saturday, obviously, I hope you're having a good Saturday. Doesn't necessarily have to be August 1st. And if it is August 1st, doesn't necessarily have to be August 1st, 2020. Could be August 1st, 2500. Wouldn't that be weird? In which case, you're probably like, he's making a joke about Ulysses S. Grant. He must have been very familiar with the man. Not true. But history has a way of flattening the timeline. You know what I mean? What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is when I think of like the 15... Well, hey, you know what? It's an even better example. We'll just go with the classic, like, tropey one. Yeah, you ever hear that, like, you know, Cleopatra lived closer to the modern day than she did to the creation of the Great Pyramids? However, we just think of it as, like, Egypt! Are we still on? Apparently not. That's, you know, in the year 2300... When someone from 2020 references, like, the 1850s, people who are not historians will probably be like, yeah, those were roughly, like, similar time periods. When I think of the 1700s and the 1500s, I'm like, those are the same century. Obviously, numerically false. But the important thing is they're both old. You ever think about that? I think about that sometimes. You might think people will see it differently because of the... you know, amount of technological progress that's happened over the last, you know, 70 years or so. I disagree, though. I think, like, when you're in a century, like, I mean, like, you always are, but specifically, you know, like, when you're in the 2000s, like, the year 2000 seems very far apart from where you are at the present moment. However, the years 1960 and 1980 feel like they're 6 months apart. Maybe you disagree with that. It's always the way I've perceived time that I did not live in, though. And if you don't believe me, then just go listen to Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. If you missed a day of history class, one day of Billy Joel is worth a college credit. Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Studebaker, television, North Korea, South Korea, not South Dakota, Marilyn Monroe. Okay, now we're putting together an okay line in spite of that. Oh my god, you don't get much acceleration on dirt, huh? So here's what I'm thinking. You gotta thread the needle, look at that. I think we actually clipped the wall slightly, but I'll take it. Then you come over on this one, and then this is where things get a little touchy. You gotta have a lot of speed through this. Good start. I actually, like, what are you supposed to do? Maybe, like, you land on the grass. You hit that thing and it springs you somewhere? I just have no idea. If you're supposed to land on the pinball machine or what. I'll call it that at the present moment. I mean, like, we were 8 minutes in. Apollo, every time we play Trackmania, he goes, I just wish that the courses would tell me where we're supposed to go. Now, most of the time, I go, haha, you're like a little baby. Or you just, you know, follow the natural line of the course. This one, I'm like, there are multiple points at which there is no track whatsoever. I recognize, you know, there's been a little salt about some of the tracks, and salt begets salt. So I'm trying to undo some of the saline infusion and just have fun. You know, with no expectations for how we're gonna do on today's run, merely just trying to live in the moment, you know? Nobody's looking at their phones, just living in the moment. But it's hard when you do insane stuff like that. Alright, so what have I learned so far? Well, this might be one where we turn on the ghosts a little early, but it's also definitely one... I mean, we're improving on that. It's definitely one where I think this time, you know, don't just automatically restart. Air braking's not working too well for me there. Like this, I don't mind coming into this section a little slow. But once we get through, like, our next checkpoint, if we fail, we might want to do a little checkpoint-based progression. Like that, I don't really mind that either. I really think this is one where just completing, like, a clean lap is probably going to be worth its weight in palladium. See, that was nice. And then this, we know what's up here. Okay, well, I mean, that's not great. That's much better. Around the outside. You know what? I'm actually... Well, this is never gonna work. I'm like, what if you go, like, around this? Is this the track? Yo, okay. See, that's... The checkpoint-based algorithm has done me a great service this time. I don't know if we're gonna have... And by don't know, I mean, like, I pretty much guarantee we're gonna have enough speed to make it up there. That's what I was gonna say. How long is this track? Oh, really? Okay, I'll hit the pause. No sweat. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back momentarily. Hey everybody, we're back. Sorry, we had the HVAC professionals come in to take a look at something in our place. Still, as of yet, unresolved, but I won't belabor the point with you. Now, while they were here, because I'm an 11-year-old kid, I just played this Trackmania course, and I'll admit, we got to a gold. I don't know if we got an author medal. I apologize for improving off camera. Sorry I burdened you with my friendship. But I'll show you what I learned on this course. One thing I've learned is it really does work for the best if you keep your wheels on the ground. This section, still very much trying to figure out the optimum line that is like a good mix of safety and speed. This one, you want to slow it down. You don't want to go full throttle. You want to touch your wheels to the concrete. Now here, now that we know what we're doing here, this may still fail, but if it doesn't, that's pretty good. And then you're just going to grip it and rip it as much as possible around this corner. Land safely here. And there you go. That's not the lap we're looking for, but it's a reasonably acceptable lap for the time being. So do I think the author medal is in play? I do, actually. Unless there's some kind of shortcut, which actually seems very plausible. Apparently the shortcut on yesterday's track, if you wanted to get it, you had to mash the reset at checkpoint button 2 times, which would face you like the opposite way or something. You want to go left on this. This was my problem before. Left on that is such a gentle ramp that it's actually downright pleasant. So I don't know about all this shortcut stuff, you know? Also known as resin. What I do know, from a pure Ken Miles standpoint, there is time for me to glean here. Should probably turn some ghosts on soon, but I still like... I like turning the ghosts on once I acknowledge that I've kind of like squeezed the udder dry, you know what I mean? And I understand you can turn individual ghosts on and off. There was a very, and I shouldn't highlight the spiteful comments, because even the spiteful comments are mostly written by people who enjoy the content, but just don't have the manners for whatever reason to, you know, type things in a way that's inoffensive to people that they actually enjoy the content of. But it was like, it's amazing to me that this guy will take like an hour to record a track of the day video, but he won't take 5 minutes to like turn on and off the individual ghosts. You can apply this logic, as needlessly reductive logic, to everything in your life. Oh, it's amazing that you'd be awake 16 hours a day, and yet at the same time you won't even clean your bedroom. You see how easy that is? Everybody picks and chooses the things that they do, and it's a constant sign of improvement. The irony being that on the internet, people demand perfection immediately, meanwhile they misspell their comments. Okay, so I ask you, have mercy. I don't like to bust out the nuclear retorts, but sometimes it triggers, you know, the Wernicke and the Broca's area inside of my brain, creates a positive feedback loop that's impossible to turn off. So I ask you for a little bit of an armistice. Or a caristis, as it is in this case, because we're not really using our arms. Well, I mean, except to steer, but driving's more of a foot game. You know what? I'm going to let that one go. Okay. So we're 72nd in... actually, I think we're 72nd in North America. We were like top 19 in Canada or something like that. So the start of this course, in my opinion... Hold on, do we have people at our door? Hey, we do actually. One moment, please. Alright, so believe it or not, it's been 2 hours since I hit the pause button. We had more maintenance staff show up. I remember nothing whatsoever of where we were at before. This is a cursed Trackmania episode, and yet we persevere. Oh my god. I'm so out of the loop on what we were doing prior to this. I apologize. We're gonna try to hold it together here. I really don't know where we're gonna stand at the end of this. It's been look, let me put it this way, alright? I've been working from home for a long time. Like 8 years. One of the things I've said to people who are like, what are the downsides of working from home prior to 2020? I've been like, people will not respect your time. They will exclusively think that, and this is not really, like, I'm not complaining about the blue-collar workers who are keeping our house from exploding. You know, I'm very thankful for that. But, you know, when we had our HVAC thing today, we were like, what time should we expect people to show up? And they're like, oh, we don't really know, just be around all day. So in the COVID world, I feel like more people, perhaps, are a little bit sympathetic to that plight. You're like, well, I can be around all day, but on the flip side of that, you know, it would really help me plan out, like, my economic activities if I could have, like, a little window of when you expected to show up. But, so here we are, regardless. Nevertheless, he persisted. I don't know if we can even make the corner jump on that. We're going to be a few seconds back, but honestly, I mean, for being out of practice based on the fact that, you know, I mean, like, I started recording this episode at, like, 10:30, maybe 10:40 a.m. Pacific time. It is now 1:27, and the video is 17 minutes and 12 seconds long. So I hope you can understand, not frustration, but just an explanation of this one-of-a-kind Trackmania episode where as soon as I get any sort of momentum, somebody knocks at the door and is like, hey, we're here to service the boiler. It is what it is, alright? And the other thing is, I'm not actually that sore about it. I think it makes for a funny video. And then on top of everything else, you know, with everything going on in the world, I don't necessarily expect, like, oh, we're going to be there at 2:11 p.m. plus or minus 45 seconds. Like, I don't think that's realistic. But it does, throws a little bit of a monkey wrench into your workflow, but that's okay. So do I anticipate getting a better time? I'm going to be honest with you, I actually do. I think that we have not yet had, like, a run that really perfected what we were going for. I think it might take us a little bit longer than I originally expected, but I think that's okay. And honestly, again, you're like, what happened? 5 minutes ago you hated this track and now you like it? Well, again, 5 minutes ago for me, I was having a delicious outdoor lunch while people worked on our domicile. 5 minutes ago, in terms of runtime, it was a different story. 5 minutes ago, in terms of runtime, we hadn't even had the first group of individuals show up at our location. And I was still like, I don't even know if you can complete this track. Now I'm like, okay, the track is very completable. And I do think there's, I think we've got more than enough room to grow. But all I would ask is maybe, like, have mercy for, like, the next 25 minutes or so while I get back in the groove. This is not going to help. We lost a ton of speed there. But that's okay. You know what? Use this as a learning opportunity. Like, I really feel like if you can get this part under control, that was okay. Not good, but okay. Now here, you gotta slow down. Yeah, in the future, you gotta slow down there, but that's okay. I don't know, look, I love working from home. It's almost exclusively perks. Genuinely. And even the negatives are so minor as compared to the negatives of, like, working in an office. And I don't say that to punch down at people that are, like, working in an office right now. And the other thing is, and we're building in a few too many caveats, and I might lose the plot here a little bit, but everybody's different. Like Josh, for example, does not like working from home. He desires the structure that, like, an office environment can give. I don't understand it, but that doesn't mean he's wrong. You know, everybody's kind of built a little bit differently according to that suite of parameters, if you will. But there is one negative about working from home. If you're in the office Friday at 9:45 a.m., people are like, this guy's working. If you're in your home office Friday at 9:45 a.m., sometimes people are like, hey, do you want to have like an hour-long phone call about like what to bring to the potluck this weekend? People struggle to see it as like actually being at work. They're more willing to take time to offer your own time out of your day during normal working hours because they're like, it's not that big of a deal. And I mean, it actually is less of a big deal. Like if my mom called me for an hour-long phone call if I worked at 9 to 5 at an office and she called me at 2 p.m., I would be like, Mom, are you trying to get me fired? Here, I'd be like, I gotta work a little bit late. But still, I'd also be like, I'm trying to live my own life here, Mom. Relax. All right, that's no good. That's no good. You know what? Let's at least turn on. Excuse me, did that say top 3 British Columbia? What's happening, dude? What's happening? All right, we got a nice spread here, actually. A couple of seconds in between all of these ghosts. Got to cut that one pretty sharp. Though definitely turn the wheels too much there, but I think we're still in there. Anyway, I'm sure if you work from home, you have a similar story of somebody that's just like, yeah, but you're at home right now. They're like, yeah, but I'm at work right now. Yeah, but are you? And I'm like, yeah, when I was at the office, there's a huge difference. When I worked at an office, 80% of my time was just downtime. Now that I'm at home, 100% of my time is productive. But again, I'm not trying to be bitter. Different strokes for different folks. In the COVID-based world, I'm quite honestly just pleased to be getting any kind of home service at all. Because for about 3 months when we had a problem, you know, and trust me, I completely understand why, but, you know, subcontractors and manufacturers and maintenance handymen, etc., were Can you believe, by the way, that we just had 2 dead heat splits? That's crazy. They would be like, well, we'd love to help you with your problem, but have you checked the news? And I'm like, you know what? That's completely fair. Frustrating, but completely fair. So we've made some improvements. Okay, so you come around a little bit. You definitely maintain a higher degree of speed through there. I will also say, if you're watching this, let's head some questions off at the pass. There will be no Trackmania episode on your tomorrow, which is Sunday. I've become very protective of my day off, because if I don't get protective, I lose it immediately, not due to anybody else's foibles, but due to my own foibles. If I start to be like, I'm just going to record like 1 Trackmania episode, historically, then I say to myself, well, like, I've already recorded 1 episode. I'm already in recording mode. I could at least work out like an Isaac episode. And then after I work out an Isaac episode, I'm like, really? I got set up to do 1 Isaac episode? Like, we might as well knock out a handful. Before you know it, it's like 8 p.m. on my day off, and I'm like, I didn't do anything except work. Anyway. 24 minutes in here. I really, like, if I'm giving my opinion on this course, I actually like it a lot. It did have a learning curve at the start. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's better than yesterday's. Not just because the maker of yesterday's track is probably watching. But, and that's not just hubris, they left a comment yesterday. However, I think that it is a long course that is actually not that technical. It's kind of a little bit more of a free-flowing course. You know, I feel like if you lose 100th, or let me rephrase, if you lose 1/10 of a second here or there, you don't immediately have to restart. Like, although that time, that wasn't 1/10, that was like 5/10. I feel like it's the kind of course where even if you make an early mistake, you can make up for it in the later game by just playing a little bit more shrewdly. So I actually like this course more than you would think, based on the fact that it's very Little Big Planety. I mean, if I'm being honest, and it's not just salt from that last section, if there's a part of this course I kind of dislike, it's the leaf jump or the grass jump, where I really feel like sometimes I'm like on, but the grass jump just doesn't work very well. Just because of the way that it's set up. Like, it feels like there's just kind of like bumps on the road that can sort of screw you. But we got a lot more consistent at it, no doubt about that. All right, so we're competitive. This part of the course, this is like the bare minimum. That's like the bare minimum you can do right there. As long as you're running with the bulls in Pamplona, you don't need to sweat it too much right there. No, we're sweating that because we're not even in Spain. We still have not even crossed over the Pyrenees at that point. That's right. I know the mountains that separate France from Spain. I played GeoGuessr. Maybe you've heard of it, sweetheart. Okay. Again, we're running with the bulls. This is totally fine. We made it through the threshold. Wheels didn't leave the ground. I swear to God. I know we got a better lap in us. This one feels super weird too, because I'm like, I don't even know if we showed our best lap on camera. I know that we... Because I have no memory of the start of this episode, because it was a different me. I remember starting the episode, I remember being like, I don't know how it works. I remember while we had plumbers here going, oh, now I get it. And then I honestly don't remember how long part 2 was. We're in part 3 right now. Part 1, I had no idea what was happening. Part 2, I really felt was like under 5 minutes long. So we may not have seen a PB today, which is comical, but also very frustrating for me personally. I mean, we live in a weird world for that sort of stuff, right? I work Sunday to Friday. I take Saturdays off. But if you're like a plumber or an electrician, or etc., you also want to work Monday to Friday and take maybe Saturday and Sunday off. Maybe work a little bit on Saturday and Sunday, depending on the rate, right? I feel like societally speaking, we need to have staggered work weeks. Like, can I give you the number one example? I feel like dentists should have staggered work weeks. Now, I'm not punching down at dentists. We have dentists in our family. It's quite the opposite, but I'm like, the average person, like I feel like we're super lucky. We get to go to our dental appointments on Saturday. So on our day off, we can be like, oh, come on. On our day off, we can be like, hey, let's get our teeth cleaned. I mean, we book it 9 months in advance, but you get what I mean. But I feel like, you know, when I worked at like an office, I would have to take like a half personal day to go to the dentist because our dentist office in my hometown was only open Monday to Friday, right? Except for emergencies. Like, doesn't that seem busted to you? I'm proposing a new work week for dentists. Dentists, don't shoot the messenger on this one, okay? Oh, my wheels just barely touched the pipe. Dentists, I think, should not work Monday to Thursday. They should start working Friday at noon. And on Fridays, they should work like noon to 8. And then Saturdays and Sundays, they should work noon to 8. Or sorry, 8 to 8 on Saturdays and Sundays. So they'll work 8 hours on Friday, 12 hours on Saturday and Sunday. It's a 32-hour work week, but it would really help out the 99 is ridiculous. It would help out the bulk of the population that works Monday to Friday, and even dentists would work less per week, at least by the amount. Now, economically, would they have as many patients? I don't know, but I don't know. It just seems backwards to me that, you know, like you as like a white-collar office employee are expected to take personal days to go get like routine medical procedures done that everybody seems to agree are basically necessary to like your functioning as a healthy human being in society. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Alternatively, maybe an easier fix. Twice a year, you get a dentist half day. As an office employee, or as any employee really, 2 times a year, you get to take, you know, a half day without having to take a personal or a sick day so that you can actually go to the dentist. This is the platform by which I'm running on for comptroller of the Fraser Valley next year. If you'd like to support me, then don't vote for me, because I think it's a much less both lucrative and also enjoyable career than what I'm presently doing. But I have good ideas. I mean, you ever think about that? I know it's like an old joke, but if you have like a chronic illness, depending on where you live, you may be forced to take like your personal time off in order to go treat it. But if you have a habit of smoking cigarettes, you can take like 15 minutes off every 2 hours into perpetuity. I'm not trying to be Jerry Seinfeld, but like mixed with Bill Hicks here. It just feels to me like a system that's working against the best interests of the people invested in it. Just throwing that out. I know you weren't ready for radical ideas like that, but hey, we're driving at speeds of 348 right now. If you weren't ready for radical ideas, then you're watching the wrong series, okay? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There is a cap on the length of this video, because I dare not be late for my recording session with Michael L. Fox. We're going to be playing a little bit of baseball. So maybe it's a good time for me to focus and try to put down a reason. I mean, our time is good, right? We're top 3 British Columbia right now. That won't hold forever, but like for the time being, it's really good. Stop slowing down in the air there. But I feel like this is bizarrely like the worst best Trackmania video. Can I hit you with another radical political thought? All healthcare in Canada that's considered non-optional is free, okay? Dental care, completely paid for out of pocket. What's up with that? If somebody plays baseball willingly, of their own volition, and sprains their ankle, falls under the taxpayer's domain. If somebody gets a tooth infection and there's almost nothing they could do about it, it comes out of their own pocket. How does that make any sense? Yeah, I'm advocating for free dental. Hey, the rest of the world already acts like we get free dental care. They're always like, you wouldn't understand how expensive dentistry is. You live in Canada. We might as well start getting it for free. Who's gonna pay for it? I'm gonna pay for it. I'm already paying for it. Doesn't make any sense, okay? We're putting the whole system on trial here in Trackmania. If Sidney Crosby gets hip dysplasia because he played in the National Hockey League, the taxpayer foots the bill. If Bob the Builder doesn't have an opportunity to go to the dentist because of the fact that they're only open Monday to Friday and he has to work Monday to Friday to provide for himself and his family, he has to pay for the abscess and the root canal procedure out of his pocket. I ask you, does this make any sense? Ladies and gentlemen, there's not a chance on this one, but it's... maybe there's a chance on this one. Stick it, stick it, stick it. I just want one lap. Come on, just one improved lap. No, that's me. That's not me. Let's go. That is right. I did it. I can live with that. Improve. You know what? On today's episode, we might as well play against the egg card. It's already a weird one. Oh my god, look at how many people have the same skin. Hello. Oh my god, dude, no joke, there has to be a shortcut today. 56 seconds. There's a cheesy shortcut somewhere on this, which is fine. I'm not mad at you, Divided Z. I'm not mad at the level creator. I'm just now realizing that, like, we were playing with a stacked deck. Alright. See, everyone agrees the left side on that one is where you want to be. Had to slow down a little bit more than I'd like to stay on a line here. So I think I know where the shortcut is. I'm pretty sure it's that awful grass patch where we previously have been going into the concrete bank. Little known analog to the Iron Bank from Game of Thrones. If the Iron Bank won't provide you with a loan, you go to the concrete bank. It's got 35% interest compounded by the second. But if you got no other options, you got no other options. Dude, I just feel like I'm driving to work. This is just like, I'm just commuting right now. Oh, you wouldn't. You did? Really? Okay, well, let's see where these guys go. I lost a ton of time. Really? What do you do here, then? Maybe they're just faster. I don't know. Like, kind of the irony is we were too slow to know if we were too slow, if that makes sense. Like, because we weren't keeping with the head of the pack, we found ourselves so far behind that we couldn't piggyback off of them for intelligence, you know? This is just what Highway 1 looks like between the hours of like 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So this is just another day, you know, just another day driving out to Burnaby. Did you see that? Somebody appears to have tried something sneaky there. Brother. That's one of those shortcuts that I'm like, actually, you deserve a medal if you make that. I'm not willing to go for it consistently, because I feel like it's going to ruin a lot of my great splits and turn them sour. By the way, like, while we're probably floundering and relatively unlikely to set a new PB over the limited remaining runtime, thank you to everybody who's joined the Egg Carton. It is indeed in my purview. Probably this weekend, maybe sometime after that, I will be looking to... And this is not like soliciting applications, but I'll be maybe looking at the way that things are in the Discord and trying to assign a couple of people to be like admins of the server. Because the dream for me, like, I don't want to run it every day, because that's not just because like I can't do it. Because, like, if I wanted to, I could set an alarm and set the tracks every day. But I just, like, it's inconsistent, right? Like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to reliably be the guy to do that. But I'll be looking for people that maybe, you know, every day, very close to the start of the daily, are like, I play the daily. And then trying to maybe solicit them as admins or moderators, to set up like a room for the Egg Carton so that everybody can play in the track of the day together. Now, I'm still, and again, without sounding as dismissive as possible, this isn't really like me soliciting feedback, but I'm undecided right now whether or not I'd rather have it be like, hey, the last like 5 track of the days or something, maybe the last 3 track of the days get rotated every 10 minutes. Or have it just be like every day is exclusively the current track of the day. I think maybe the second one is a little bit better for like everybody competing, and the first one's a little bit better for people hanging out, right? So I'm torn right now. We're gonna go right on this one because I'm nervous. Slow down a little bit. Good stuff. But yeah, like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you pay $30 for the Super Trackmania edition of this game, I want to give you something. Even though I'm not a shareholder in Ubisoft, I feel like I should at least try to operate on the making it as good as possible, right? Making it as useful as possible. I'm stunned that we actually improved ourselves a little bit on that one. This is honestly like a really good score today. 102.175. Could have done better, but I'm very pleased with where we're at already. I'm also a little surprised that the author medal is further away, because that seemed really good. But you know what? At the end of the day, more competitive author medals is only going to make us better long term. But yeah, just know that it's like it's on the horizon. That's the dream, at least, is that we'll have a place where people can hang out. And again, I want to be very clear. I say this routinely. I think Trackmania 2020 is one of my favorite games of 2020. I do not think that the $30 version of this game is worth buying unless you can find yourself in a situation where, like, you want to open a server, or there's like a really, really well-maintained server you want to join. I couldn't sleep at night if I was like, yeah, you guys should get the $30 edition just so that you can, like, see the leaderboards in the egg carton. If you as a human being decide that that's worth it for you, that's one thing. But if you know, if I were advocating for it, I don't know. I wouldn't feel right, because I don't think you're getting $30 worth of value out of this. But, you know, if you've already committed to paying that, then, you know, this will be a nice little value add, hopefully. Nice little value add, hopefully. Now I recognize my headphones have slipped back further on my head, which originally I was going to call dome piece, and then I was like, that's outdated vernacular. What about calling it a domicile? And then I realized a domicile is a house. And then I started thinking to myself, what is a head but a domicile for your brain? And what are you if not your brain? And I started to, but then I was like, you know what? Maybe we'll just focus on driving instead. Oh, do you see the Salamanca? I could feel the Salamanca. I tasted a little slice of my own mustache there. Stubble Trackmania is where it's at. I will say it's not a choice really for me to have stubble in Trackmania. I shave every Friday night. Today is Friday. I feel like shaving once a week is weird territory because you get it on both sides. Some people who were raised by military colonels in the 1950s are like lazy. Why don't you shave every day? I don't shave every day because I don't need to appeal to Uncle Sam for my GI Bill, okay? And then some people who grow beards are like, why do you shave at all? And I'm like, because it's itchy, okay? Get off my case. I also feel like bald beard is a powerful image, don't get me wrong. However, I don't think I got the ability to pull it off just yet. Maybe in Dad City, once our infant is born, I could consider bald beard, but I really feel like I don't see myself as Jason Statham. I don't know. You know, for the Transporter, Hobbs and Shaw, etc., etc. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, the Italian Job. But you know, he's kind of a bald trailblazer, and he rocks the stubble, and I think it works. I think he did the research so that I didn't have to. It's like the same reason I don't, invent my own cellular telephone. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm completely incapable of doing it, because like you could do anything you put your mind to. Instead, it's merely, we're not even going to be close on this one, I think. It's merely that someone else has already done the work for me. Oh, we're not even. Yeah. Okay. Get the headphones back at a 10 and 2 angle, and then stick in here. I don't know if we should be lowering the throttle there. Good stuff. We're actually, I didn't imagine this, but we're ahead of our previous self. We're actually like neck and neck. Well, I don't know if we're neck and neck, because everybody's using the same car wrap. Ah! Alright, I think we gotta institute like one more lap mentality here. But I think that at the end of the day, for a video with such an interrupted workflow, and a track that actually gave us like every excuse to be upset with it, I actually feel like we did really well today. And I'm pretty pleased with my own performance. I say that a lot, but the reality of the situation is that on most Trackmania days, I'm pretty pleased with my own performance. Rarely do I leave a Trackmania video and go like, I screwed the pooch on that one, right? Sometimes I'm like, it would have been nice to, like if I were retired, I might consider putting an extra 90 minutes into this one to try to get to the next echelon. But in all sincerity, usually the Trackmania videos end when I go, you know what? For the time that we've invested, that result is pretty good. Which is why they end up being relatively long. Good, 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 good. You're gonna lose some time, but at least you didn't touch the wall. Should keep you, like, competitive. That's fine. That's fine. Still fine. Oh, that jump. That jump is real dangerous. Oh, we were in there. We were made in the shade. What happened to Eater of Eggs today, by the way? Eater of Eggs? I don't see you. Did you have to work today? I look forward every day to seeing your name and going, Eater of Eggs. And then I always think about making the Guided by Voices joke. Eater of Eggs. And you guys know, it's from B1000. It's called Kicker of Elves. What's the song about? Nobody knows at all. It was influenced by drinking 17 Miller Lights in Robert Pollard's basement. I mean, I am a scientist. Everybody gets it. My Kind of Soldier, everybody gets it. The Best of Jill Hives, nobody gets it. But I heard that it was Bob Pollard was at a car wash, and he was watching people speak through a glass window, and someone said, like, the best of our lives, but in his head he thought they said the best of Jill Hives, and he just wrote like a seminal pop song about it. But that's the difference between conventional genius, like me, and unconventional artistry, like Bob Pollard. I can't even comprehend. We clipped our back wheels, but I'm like, I feel like there's a chance here. I don't know. I think I see myself on the upper right peninsula there. Yeah, I don't think we're making it here. How far off were we, though? A second? Alright, we gotta call it. This is still a good performance. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this curse video, and I'll see you next time. See ya!